The chair of the department are one of the most important people that you should get to know as a graduate student. But what exactly do they do and how can they help you? Well, today we're going to talk about just that. So first, what is the chair of the department, or who serves as the chair of the department? So the chair of the department is usually an associate professor or a person or a faculty member that has been within the department for a good amount of time. And that's because the role of the chair is to serve as a liaison between the faculty and the dean's office, and then also the students, both undergraduate and graduate. So in the simplest way, you can imagine the chair of the department as the middle person, or as the connective tissue to all of the most important factors or players, stakeholders, people within a given department, school, or university. Now, the reason that a chair of the department has to be a liaison between all of these stakeholders is because the chair is the person who ultimately manages the ongoing responsibilities, duties, needs of the department. And so overview of these things would include the curriculum, scheduling classes, making sure that there are classes or particular classes that are coming back onto the registrar, that they have, a good amount of professors and TAs. They're also going to have to look at the administrative duties and to make sure that the needs of the departments are being fulfilled. And so as a result, they may oversee the hiring process of faculty or support the hiring process of faculty, but also they organize and manage the hiring process of graduate students, both as teaching assistants and graduate student researchers, or generally academic student employees. The chair of the department also oversees the funding or larger budgetary needs and abilities or responsibilities of the department. And so this could look at for faculty, for their special projects, research, salaries, but it also supports graduate students and their funding packages and their hiring process, as well as administrational budgetary needs like putting on programming, buying new desks, and things like that. The chair of the department is also managing the faculty and staff more generally or traditionally as you would imagine a business being run. And so what this would look like, or what this would mean, is that the chair is going to oversee the responsibilities of the staff, make sure they're not underworking or overworking, make sure they're getting paid on time, make sure that they're getting paid accurately. They're also going to oversee certain types of promotions, both for their staff, but also merit reviews, tenureship processes for faculty. And so they're also looking at kind of a budgetary, financial, but hiring type internal work. It is also important to say that the chair themselves are also faculty within the department, and that this position is usually self-appointed or appointed by the dean, and it's oftentimes, in most cases, a temporary position. So it's not a position that somebody applies to be in, but rather they see it as a service opportunity or a way to support the department. And so a full faculty member, usually associate or distinguished professor, or somebody that has been there and tenured, will take on this responsibility to make sure that the department has what it needs, is being managed and supported accurately or properly, while also doing the work to support their faculty colleagues and their graduate students and undergraduate students. This is important to say because faculty being a part of a temporary position that is self-appointed or appointed from outside, and it's voluntary, means that the quality of chairs will change year to year or appointment to appointment. Within our department, the chair holds its position for 3 years. In other departments, they may not have a limit per se, but somebody may continue to kind of suggest themselves or get reappointed over and over again. Other departments may have different processes to how they select their chairs and prepared. But again, this may impact how you as a graduate student are able to interact, or who you're interacting with, and how often they are changing. The chair of the department also oversees programmatic type things. So if you have faculty that want to do certain types of series or talks or events, or if you have graduate students that want to do something similar, the chair of the department is also going to see, do they have the budgetary ability to do that? at, is this aligned with the mission of the department or the needs of the students? And the list goes on and on. So there's also a sort of programmatic focus that the chair takes on. But all in all, it's important just to remember that the chair of the department is one of the most important people to know within your department, because they are essentially the managers of the in and out daily needs and budgetary abilities or focuses of the department. However, because it is a voluntary position, they also may be experiencing a lot of stress, may not have institutional knowledge on how to do these things, may have a learning curve, may not have actual skills that will help them facilitate this managerial position, and the list can go on and on. So it's important to remember that they are very important, but they're not necessarily always good quality, super helpful, or they may not even want to be there. So it's important to keep these things in your mind as you approach your chair, so you can have an understanding of where are your best strategies to make sure you're able to work with them to help you out. Now, I just said to help you out, so this would be a great time to talk about what can the chair do for you, or why is the chair important to graduate students? And again, if you are an avid watcher of my channel, you know that I talk about funding a lot, and that's exactly where I'm going to start with this point. And that is, the chair of the department, like I said previously, oversees many budgetary needs. And so as a graduate student, if you are somebody that is in need of financial support, an academic student employee job, or having difficulties managing the job's responsibilities or the funding, or the list can go on, the chair is a great person to talk to, so you can learn what are the resources, what are the options and possibilities that the department can provide, or even possibly the dean of your school that can provide to help you while you are in need. While generally it is important to take note that the chair themselves don't usually have a lot of power to make things change or to support you, the chair does have access to a lot of resources and people who do have power. So again, when approaching your chair, it's important to remember that they themselves may not be the end-all be-all to your concerns, but they can be a resource or guide you to resources to help you fix your concerns or mediate your problems. And that directly connects in another way that your chair can support you as a graduate student. If you are a graduate student and you are having conflict either in your academics, between a faculty member, between another graduate students, or just general issues or concerns with the structure of the department or the department more generally, the chair is a perfect person to know. It is the responsibility of the chair of the department to mediate problems or to find solutions or resources to help you mediate problems, especially if you are a graduate student that is TAing or working within the department and there's some violation of your contract, or there's some conflict or tension between you and your supervisor or the faculty that you're working with. The chair is supposed to be the person that can help resolve this issue and be of support to both you and the faculty. Now again, it's important to reiterate that the chair themselves is a faculty member, which means these conversations, depending on what the conflict or the tension is, may have some bias. And if I'm being honest, that may imply that sometimes when you are asking for support or for help, they're not going to be very helpful. They may even be even more traumatizing or upsetting. And that is something just to be mentally prepared for, because you never know what the focus is of a particular chair or what their MO is. And so just to remember that they are themselves a part of this larger system that we call the university, and they are faculty. And so they may feel like they're put in a very difficult situation or an awkward situation to reprimand or to punish their fellow colleagues. Now, this doesn't imply that you shouldn't go to them, but instead just be aware of, again, strategies, communication points, or what your goal is or what you hope to get out of that conversation. Rather than hoping that they themselves will create the solution for you, make sure you have a good idea of what the problem is, what is the work that you've done to try to solve it, and then kind of an end goal that you would like to get to help you get through whatever the issue is of the rest of the semester and on and on and on. Now, this next one is actually a really cool reason to go and talk to your chair. And that is if you are somebody that is interested in putting on specific programming, events, or even suggesting or requesting specific classes that either you teach or that you would like to take as a graduate student, the chair is a perfect person to talk to. Now again, the chair is just a person and a faculty member, so they may not be a magical genie to make all of these things happen, but if there are budgetary abilities or moments where they can give out money for events or programs, or if they have faculty that are willing to teach specific classes that you and your fellow graduate students are interested in, or if they have the budget to hire you as an instructor of record, then you may be able to talk to your chair to be able to teach or learn your own class or to help develop the curriculum of your department. It's also important to know that in the hiring process as well, depending on how many graduate students are interested, if you all come together and talk about the needs or the missions or the goal of the department in relation to your needs as graduate students, a chair is a perfect person to talk to if you are looking for a gap in the research to be filled by a faculty member or by a new hire. Again, the chair oversees the hiring process, and so if you go to that person and say, hey, this is a department about world arts and cultures, but we're missing this specific culture, or we're missing representation of this specific art, do you think in this new hiring process you can look for somebody like that? They probably can't guarantee that that person will be there because it's about who applies, but it can help them be more intentional about who they're looking for in relation to the needs of the graduate students and the department more generally. The chair of the department, however, is not somebody you should go to if you have issues with your grades, if you feel like, you've experienced some type of assault or something like that. There are other resources on campus, like your Title IX office, like the Office of Discrimination or Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. If you're somebody who's experiencing grade problems or don't really understand, your program suggestions or the progress of the program, then those you should most likely go to your academic service officer or somebody in your department that is more of an advisor. So maybe talking to your grad advisor or talking to an academic advisor in your department. The chair isn't going to know a lot about the ins and outs of a particular program per se, or your degree process per se, because they're overseeing a lot of people already. And so knowing the nitty-gritty details of every graduate student and every undergraduate student would just be a little bit out of their scope. However, if you are trying to, talk about policy in relation to how your degree works, or if you're trying to make petitions for certain classes or things like that, you first should try to talk to your advisor or to an academic advisor. But if they don't have the answer, then your chair would be a good person to go to find out who has the answer and to find solutions together. So just to provide a brief overview about the chair and how you as a graduate student can benefit from getting to know them better, the chair is the liaison between faculty, graduate students, and the deans. They also serve as a sort of manager of the department and oversee the curriculum or administrative academic side of things. They also oversee budgetary or funding side of things, as well as managing and organizing the staff and faculty. They are also a middleman or somebody that you can talk to if you are experiencing conflict or concerns with both the department and or faculty in particular. They are not somebody that you should go to if you are having personal individual academic concerns like grades or degree progress, but they can help you with more policy driven things or policy focus or petition based types of things that will help you progress throughout your degree. And they are a great person to talk to if you're looking to find extra resources for a variety of different reasons. Funding opportunities, teaching or research opportunities, or if you are somebody who is interested in developing curriculum or searching for faculty to help you have a class or take a class that you are interested in. Now, of course, there are a gajillion other things that can go on in the department, and a chair is just the first person that I think you should get to know best to make sure that you are starting your graduate school process on the right foot. But if you're interested in more graduate school information, I would check out my grad FAQ playlist. If you found at least 2 things useful, hit the thumbs up so YouTube can share this video with others who may need it. And as always, your support, your comments, and your shares helps a small YouTuber like me continue to grow. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.